We are back for a second installment, cleanly shaven for your viewing pleasure. Looking at more sun stuff. Looking at the ultimate blacksmith, known as your local yellow dwarf. I don't know what that thing is in the way. Let's get it out of here. There we go. This is the last 4 hours here and 304 angstroms. Let's get me back off camera and get on with the update of the update. You see some filamentary activity going on there? Let's look at some other views, such as 171. There was an error with my start and end date, folks. So we're looking at today only from 8 to 12 Zulu time, as we are zooming in on some zoom-in activity. I invite you to look at your screen left. Let's look at the colored magnetogram and see how it's been working out. And I keep clicking on that, I don't know why. All right, there we go. So anyway, there's a situation with that. Let's check on the real-time solar wind here real quick. As we did see an elevation in the density. We're going to bring up the 6-hour view here, since it's been less than 6 hours since we released our last video. All right, so not really any changes there. Check on the X-ray flare situation on the GOES X-ray monitor. And then we're going to head to the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. So we still have a couple B-range X-ray flaring events going on here, but nothing serious. We might as well load this up while we're here. We'll look at the pressure on the magnetosphere movies. This is the last 4 hours, and you can see the date stamps at the bottom and the top. It's pretty charged up, and we'd like to see that, actually. Again, this track that you're hearing right now is called Blacksmith, and it is available at soundclick.com/GoldenCat Productions. You can stream it, you can download it. I think it's 99 cents. Add it to your own MP3 collection. Here are your magnetic ground perturbations. No big deal going on there. It was more perturbed earlier, as we are now in a more highly charged state, and for that, we thank you. Oh, we got a little spike right at the end. Check it out. Right in there. Due south of Africa. All right. Now, I know we've got some more tabs we want to look at here, so let's look at the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. We're going to ignore that magnetometer entirely, folks. But I want to show you the Enlil forecast. And we'll let that load. There we go. And this track is called molybdenum-99, a radioactive isotope over the element molybdenum. Yes, that's right. It's named after an isotope, folks. Now, for you new viewers, I just want to note one thing. When we look at the stereo A view, we are looking from the perspective of the pink dot. Apparently my Epic pen doesn't want to draw over this. There we go. So I'll just blow this up. Not in a Taliban sort of way. All right, come on, it's going to work. There we go. Okay, fantastic. How about 100%? No? How about 80%? There we go. All right. So here's stereo A. And when we look at the coronagraph from stereo A, that's the view we're looking at. And when we're looking for coronal mass ejections, we're looking for them to come this way. Why am I saying this? Because I would note that you do not need a solar flare. An X-ray flare is not required to create a coronal mass ejection. You can have one with no X-ray flare. So I would direct your attention to the GOES X-ray imager, as we only see some B-class flaring come out of that. Keep in mind the emissivity of black bodies is angular, which does explain part of the Earth-facing quiet effect, but not all. So anyway, let's not get too into that. Here's the solar visible light graph here. And there's that large, rather deep umbra rotating into view, which is what we're talking about. Let's go back to space weather news just for one moment here. So we see the electron flux is coming back off of the ground floor there, and the charging hazards are a bit alleviated versus where they were this morning. Also, we forgot to cover the F2 ionosphere layer, so we're covering it now instead of then. And it's looking quite normal, actually. So no real concerns there. And let's just check the chat here. Apparently, I don't know how to get to my own YouTube page, folks. And thank you for joining us, Miss E. Shalom from Eastern Pennsylvania. Terrence Mooney, good morning. And David Corsi, cheers. Practically our neighbor, Eastern Long Island, nice. I think you guys are getting rained on, right? The sunspot looks like it did gain intensity, but there's not a lot of magnetic mixing. I kind of agree with what Ben Davidson was saying about this one. It's not particularly dangerous. Anyway, let's look at the space weather beacon here at stereo A. I'll give you a good full screen view because we're pretty sure we were looking at a small coronal mass ejection earlier. Let's get the latest image. All right, let's see what we have here. And it's not loading the right dates. Hang on just a minute. I don't know what I just did there. That didn't work. Just bear with me one moment here. We're at about, let's see, 12. It's not cooperating. Pretty hard to click these tiny buttons. There we go. So no real coronal mass ejection there, folks. At least not yet. It looked like there was a little bit of ejecta right here earlier this morning, right in that area. A little bit of ejecta is coming out there. You can see it right there. And that's what we were looking at and looking for. And that's why we did the broadcast. We did a little extra live feed there for you. Just for that purpose. So we are out of here. And thanks again for tuning in, folks. If you enjoy the music, check it out at soundclick.com/goldencatproductions. And we also have a SoundCloud, which we need to put in the description. That is me. So there are the tracks. By the way, unified theory is really about the unified theory of physics. You are living in a neo-renaissance, viewers. So welcome to the neo-renaissance. Physics is about to be rewritten in many ways, and we want our viewers to have a heads up on it as quickly as possible. Let's look at the 1700 angstroms view here, and I clicked on data rights and data use yet again. Sorry about that. I've only done it 4 times in this video. There we go. And there's the intensity gram of that sunspot. Keep in mind these fields are packed right next to each other, as we saw in the colored magnetogram. Polar south and polar north are just right on each other like that, so it's not particularly flary looking, but at the same time, an X-ray flare is not required for a coronal mass ejection. Let's do one bonus feature here at the end. We'll look at the latest Gong 2. And as expected here, we see the North Pole is pulling, that sunspot is pulling the North Pole field up sufficiently to allow the South Pole to come through. So there's the last frame. You'll be able to see it affecting this, and it's going to affect the current sheet crossing here, where there's going to be a polarity switch in the current sheet. And we're looking at data that's 1 hour and 19 minutes behind. So right there, you see the field fluctuate. And the final frame is showing us we might actually stay in the South Pole influenced red colored field here. Because if the rest of this gets pulled into the active region there of that sunspot, it's going to delay the current sheet crossing until we're over here. So keep that in mind, folks. It's not going to have any big effects according to what these lines look like. And that sunspot doesn't look that dangerous. So it is big, but magnetically speaking, it's a little bit uncomplex. It does have 2 fields, so it is still considered a beta class. But it doesn't look particularly doomsday-like to me. And on that note, it's time to go do a lot of things. Let's give you the best possible view we can get here. Not sure how much this will zoom in. All right, there we go. Let's just leave it there. It's a pretty good shot. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We are outie. And remember, when you're staring at sunspot 2738, don't drink. And if you drink, stare at the sunspot anyway. Just don't drive, because I might be on the bike. And that totally didn't work, but this will.